Everybody, hope you're having a great day. I'm here with Mai Dechathipat. Excited to have a conversation with her about her experience as a golf pro, also experience on long drive, and her mindset. If you follow her on Instagram, she posts beautiful, stoic messages, but also gives people an insight into how she feels when she's competing. So I'd love to hear more about that. But first, let's hear about how you got to Core. What are you doing at Core?
Thanks, JJ. I'm glad to be here. I am now currently a golf instructor here at Core, and I teach players of all levels, from like beginners and kids to a much better player. And then on the side, I do long drive, as you mentioned.
And when I've seen some of the work that you do with the kids, it seems like you get really enthusiastic with them and you get them excited about golf. What are some of the things you do for youth and junior golfers to get them introduced to the game?
Yeah, so with Core, we have Core Academy, and I really align with their values, which is like to develop their skills as a golfer, but also bigger than that, right? As a person, in terms of character and just them as a human being. So I think that's something that, of course, like we want them to be as best of a player as possible, but essentially how they're gonna thrive in life and be a happy human being.
When you think about golf developing people into better people or people who are more resilient, what has golf done for you to help you with those qualities?
So a lot, like, I mean, golf, if you see it as a sport, it is just a sport, but there is many elements that you have to learn to become a better player, right? Whether that's going to be hard work or discipline or like time management or just teamwork. So that's how, like, the way I see golf is like it teaches me to, or long drive, to, stay healthy, right? I need to stay healthy to play um, better golf, better sport, be an athlete as a whole, but also develop a mental mindset to play better, perform better. So I read a lot, like that's why I'm into like mental psychology and just overall wellness as a person.
That's awesome. I would say most people kind of have a turning point or a tipping point where they go from believing that they have the internal skills to accomplish what they need to recognizing that they need to kind of research or develop some of those mental skills. What was your turning point for you where you said, yeah, I feel good about where I am, but I also want to develop and master my brain and my resilience and my endurance to be able to do bigger and better things?
I mean, I don't think there's a turning point. I feel like it's always like a journey, you know? I always feel like there's something that I can improve upon. And so it's it's small things. It's not something that it's like, oh my God, it's like life changing. No, it's like a small thing that I'm like, okay, I think I can improve there. And so I keep doing that. And then something else popped up and I'm like, oh, I think I can improve on that. Right? Like how I think about it, like imagine you're trying to improve your skills in like pull up, right? Like of course there's strength in your like upper body, but like essentially you gotta get grip strength. You might do some like glute stuff, right? Because when you're up at the top, you need to squeeze your butt. Like I don't know, there's just little things over time that I think I try to find something that I can improve upon.
It's interesting you say that because one of the things that we talk about in sports psychology is this idea of the mundanity of excellence, like how to be excellent, you got to do a lot of boring things, or like you're talking about, to be strong, you have to execute on these literally tiny muscles or these secondary muscles. When you're golfing or practicing your golf or your long drive, how do you stay connected to doing those small, repetitive, boring things and knowing that they're going to have a big support to those great outcomes?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Like I think humility of like enjoying doing the boring stuff. Like I am so grateful to just, like wake up. Like that's a normal thing that everyone does. But like I am very grateful that I wake up, I can walk, I have legs that I'm like healthy to enough to go work out. I am healthy enough to go out and talk to people. So it's just like you just have to be grateful and enjoy those moments, whether that's like eating healthy, eating vegetables, like simple stuff, not drinking much, just do mundane, as you say it. Like right now, for instance, like I am currently on a 75 hard day challenge.
Mm.
Have you heard of that one, JJ?
Yeah, you were telling me about it. Can you tell the viewers what you're talking about?
Yeah, so 75 hard day challenge. It's 75 days of doing 2 workout a day, so 45 minutes each. You drink a gallon of water. You read 10 pages, boring stuff. You follow a diet of your own. So for mine, super boring, like no processed food, like one ingredient food, and yeah, and then you just do that over and over again for 75 days. No alcohol. That's another thing.
Yeah, no, that sounds challenging. It reminds me of the Duke women's basketball coach, Don Staley, had like a viral thing where it was like do harder, better. And this
Mm,
idea that her goal for her players and her responsibility is to have them be challenged in practice so they build a resilience so that then when they go to games, they can use that resilience to compete and to hopefully get a better score. So I could see that 75-day hard challenge. Obviously, there would be some physical benefit of doing those things, but it's also that mental mindset of being able to avoid temptation, sweets, alcohol, whatever it might be, in the service of this goal that you have in the future.
totally. And like I'm a person that doesn't drink much at all, like at all. And now, like when we first started, just the idea of like not drinking, it makes so we do it in a group. So then the idea
Mm.
of not wanting, like you can't drink, makes us want to drink, which is like very interesting. Which I'm like, what? Like I wouldn't drink, but now I want to because I can't. But it's just funny. But yeah.
Well, no, it's interesting that that speaks to the mindset of if you are withholding something, you want it more versus saying, I'm foregoing this as an investment so that my future
Right.
self can enjoy the benefits of not drinking or taking care of my nutrition in a particular way or tough exercises. You were just talking about how you came out of, I think, a CrossFit workout right before we started talking today. Not only do you do the on-course golf work to be great, but you also are really pushing yourself in the gym. So how do you see those gym exercises or those CrossFit or the bouldering as a supplement, not only for your mental strength, but also your physical strength when you're golfing?
I mean, you gotta do things that you don't want to do. Right? I mean, I didn't want to like wake up and like do it, but like you just have to show up and do it. Like you just need like you gotta tell your body that you're gonna do it right the night before, and then when you wake up, you do it. That's the one thing that I think helps me build my self confidence of like, okay, like and respect yourself, right? Like if your boss tell you to like go do something, you go do it. So why wouldn't you do it when you yourself tell you to do it? Right? So I think it's like a very like important skill for life, but just for your mindset, like for your mental part of it.
You make a great point. Like we listen to these outside forces all the time, but we don't listen to ourselves. That's pretty wild when you break it down like
Right,
that.
right, exactly.
And so you mentioned gratitude, and I think one of the things that you expressed gratitude about, and we've heard you talk about, was this year with Long Drive. So can you talk about last year with Long Drive and this year with Long Drive and what you feel like might have been some of the areas of growth that you had that allowed you to not only get Player of the Year, but Athlete of the Year?
Yeah. So last year, I think I only competed in a couple because I got like my thumb injured because when you hit a lot of golf ball, it's like fast speed, right?
Mhm.
It's just overused. So my left thumb is like not great. But like this year, I figured something out and then I was able to compete in most of the events. And so I'm super grateful for that. That health or like my health was better. And that's why I think like going to the gym and just accessory work, the boring stuff is really important to maintain and staying healthy. Yeah. So that's a big key for this year, just to maintain my health. Because I know I work out consistently, so like I am pretty strong and I play golf my whole life. So I have a decent swing. So if I could just maintain that and go in each tournament having like a mindset that like okay, I can do it and know that okay, there's other players, but I am strong and I am a decent player, so I just go do it, do my best and see what happens, right? So that was the mindset this year.
And then with that mindset, how do you manage rest and recovery? Because, we're talking a lot about being active, the practicing, the
Oh,
workouts, the nutrition. But when you have a rest day, how do you allow your mind and your body to come back to baseline so that you can actually have your mind and body rest?
yeah. So I think the one big key that I learned throughout the years is like you need to know yourself. Like me, before I was like, okay, like I need to push hard and go all the way, right? Because that's what everyone who wants to be good needs to do. But now, like over the years, I learned that me myself, I need to tell myself to stop a little bit. It's harder for me to take a day off, and like I'm not just saying that because like oh my god, you want I like trying to tell you that I work hard. Like no, like I just know myself that it's hard for me to take my step off the pedal and like rest. So this year, like every time when I know that I want to get better, I need to take a rest day. And even if that makes me feel a little bit of like, oh my God, I'm not improving, I have to do it. Because like just from like my own experience, like every time I take a rest day or two, which doesn't really happen, but now I do, I feel so much better. And like the day that I come back from the rest, like I feel like I could push a workout even harder. So I learned like hard lessons from that because I overtrain and I get injured stuff
Mm.
before, like over and over again until I'm like, okay, something needs to change.
Yeah. One of the strategies that one of my coaches told me before is think of your rest day as a workout. It just like doing a bench press or a squat or doing pull-ups can be challenging and hard and difficult and taxing. Think of that as a similar thing when you're doing your rest day. So all that frustration, all that anxiety, it could be similar to me sitting under 240 pounds on the bench press. Like, I don't like that. I don't want to do it, but I recognize the benefit and it's easier for me to think about doing it because it's an active motion. But even sometimes a passive motion, laying on the couch, reading,
That
recovering,
is so
sleeping
true.
can be seen as a workout too, or something that's delivering you closer to your results.
That's very true. Yeah. So yeah, just gotta know yourself. What's the tendency and like what will benefit you. I mean,
And I wanted to end with two questions. So the first question is, if there's somebody out there that is either a beginner golfer or they're thinking about getting lessons, what advice would you give to them, whether they're a youth golfer or adult golfer, to make the leap, take the leap, sign up for some lessons, group, individual, and improve their golf game?
I think just going in with a mindset of like learning a new thing, right? Like no expectation. You're just gonna go in there, not maybe feel a little bit uncomfortable, but that's just it's fine. It's normal, right? Like just go in there, no expectation. Just maybe go in with a friend if that will make you feel better. But just go in and see what happens.
Love it. Love it. So for those out there that are either thinking about becoming a long driver or going to a local competition, sell them on it. Why should they start to love and enjoy long drive?
Yeah, so long drive is like definitely a completely different game than golf, like completely. I would suggest that when you want to get into long drive, start building your golf swing first. So go slow first before you go fast, right? Don't go like fast and then try to build your golf swing. That's a lot harder. If you have a decent swing and you can find that center contact with the golf ball, then okay, we might be able to get to swing faster so that the ball goes relatively straight. Because, I mean, long drive, yes, you try to hit it far, but essentially you still need to hit it somewhere on the grid, on Earth, right? So, like, I think number one, go slow first, build your golf swing, or try to just play good golf. And then, I mean, at the end of your session, at the range session or whatever, you can then maybe crank it up a little bit, swing a little bit faster. But yeah, go slow first before you go.
Awesome. And then for fans who are thinking about checking it out,
For long drive, yeah, totally come out to some events. I mean, long drive have events, local events as well as like the big one, like World Long Drive throughout the country. So if you have a chance to go and watch one, come on out. It's like with loud music, some food, drinks. It's just a fun environment, very different.
well, I'm excited. Well, thank you so much for your time. I know you got to rest and recover after your workout, but we appreciate it. And we're looking forward to continuing to follow you on Instagram and your World Drive Championship pursuits. I hope you have a beautiful day, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.